Cuts to community services and fears of regional rate rises. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article I've written on HeiseSays.com.au. It's discussing a recent media release from the Local Government Association, or the Australian Local Government Association. This is all the organisation that represents a lot of the local governments, LGAs. Now the concern here is, well, that there'll be cuts to community services. And I'm putting the question there, is there a fear of potential rising rates in some of these regional areas? Because with this $1.2 billion tourism package, it's not quite addressing some of the declines in revenue that these councils have experienced due to COVID-19. You're getting some of their regional airports, and it's a particular issue discussed here, that are running at significant losses, some of them up to 90% reduction in their revenue. And they weren't even running, some of them weren't even running at a profit before we had all of these economic lockdowns and issues. So let's look at this. So cuts to community services and fears of rising rates as local councils struggle to keep regional airports operating at a loss are forgotten by the federal government's new $1.2 billion tourism package. So, almost 200 remote regional airports have been forgotten by the federal government's new $1.2 billion tourism package as council-owned airports' revenues collapsed by as much as 90% according to the latest release from the Australian Local Government Association. So, here's the thing. We've got government throwing money, more money, Qantas keeper, as some are calling it, to support Virgin and the other airline industries to get tourism going. We saw all those half-price airline tickets. In some ways, it seems a bit ludicrous because you've got some people who are just struggling to get by, let alone the prospect of even going on a holiday. But here you have it. And we also saw in the real estate section where so many people were moving for the green change, were going to the regions, were looking at working remotely, were trying to get more bang for their buck. Now, will they suddenly see a potential increase in the cost of living going out to some of these remote areas? The ALGA president, Councillor Linda Scott, highlighted the impact of rising compliance costs. Because of the rising costs of compliance, few regional airports came to this crisis in a strong financial position. Local government has been given little direct financial support during the pandemic, apart from subsidies to help meet the cost of government-mandated security screening of passengers and freight, she said. Now, here's the thing, everyone. You've got, in some regards, local government council should be the most important part of politics, I would say. It should be where most of us are most involved and most active, where we actually get the most value for our money, the most bang for our buck. We're all, if you own a property, you're all paying rates, you're all providing money to your local council. What are you getting from it? Hopefully you're getting value for money. Hopefully they're providing services. It's concerning how many of these councils tend to be, a little dodgy in certain parts of them, particularly here in Queensland, or how many of them tend to forget what their purpose is, to maintain their cities, to maintain the quality of life of their constituents. Isn't it collect garbage as well? Keep the streets clean? Councillor Scott added that because local governments were not eligible for JobKeeper payments, councils have struggled to hold on to airport staff. There are almost 4,000 jobs generated by regional and remote airport precincts across the country. And given the uncertainties about when the pandemic will be brought under control, federal and state governments need to reconsider their level of direct support for local government, the council said. Local governments are committed to keeping airports open, even when running at a loss, to ensure the ability to deliver essential services and functions. We are now at a point, however, where councils are looking to have to curb community services to sustain their airports, the councillor said. So looking at cutting community services, everyone, to keep the airports going. Now, I read into this. I thought, okay, cutting services. What else could that lead to? Here in Brisbane, we've had hard waste has been cut. Hard waste has been cut. You know that our city's going to host an Olympics in the future, but, you know, hard rubbish, which is more important to me. There's no curbside selection. You know, they should have that. They should have the curbside collection back before, you know, even the state or the city invests in these vanity projects, which have been proven time and time again to historically add no value to the cities where they're going to. And this is what I'm talking about at a local level. You'd even want, ideologically, cities to represent the will of the constituents, perhaps to a greater extent. Maybe, you know, one would advocate that you'd have greater political variability between the different cities. Almost a city-state model where some of the power is diverged away from the state and federal level and at a city level. I can't see that happening. I think that'd be too brave an experiment, but I mean, it's a lot easier to move from one city to another than from one state or one country to another. The ALGA was contacted about the potential for rate rises in addition to reductions in community services, and they advised that they can't provide a response on behalf of councils that run airports. So I've reached out. I've actually contacted some of the regional councils about the prospect for rate rises, and they didn't wish to comment at this stage. Apparently I'm drawing a very long bow, so just publicly warning that cutting services doesn't necessarily mean to rate rises, but maybe I'm just a little bit more cynical about about our politicians and our bureaucrats than people who work there. Maybe, just maybe. So what do you think, everyone? What do you reckon? Do you think we're at risk of seeing rate rises occur in regional councils, or even just cutting of community services? What services would you want to see cut to maintain the airports? Or should they just increase the fees and charges to the services that are going there? It'll increase the cost of living for people in these communities, sadly enough, but, you know, that's what's going to happen. What do you reckon, everyone? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. Are you concerned about rate rises? How are you keeping an eye on it? How are you finding it if you live out in the regions? And do you think these airports are going to keep running at a loss? What could the government do? Or how could they step away? As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there's a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.